You are standing at a crossroads. Behind you is a path littered with broken dreams, frustration, and the quiet desperation of a life half-lived. In front of you is a fog of uncertainty, filled with the noise of get-rich-quick schemes, empty promises, and the confusing jargon of so-called gurus. And yet you feel it, don't you? That deep, persistent ache for something more. It's not just about the money, though the freedom money provides is a powerful motivator. It's about impact. It's about self-respect. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing with absolute certainty that you are the architect of your own destiny, not a victim of circumstance. The world has sold you a lie. A pervasive, insidious lie that has trapped 99% of people in a cycle of chasing paychecks, hopping for a lucky break, and trading their precious time for a wage that barely covers their existence. The lie is that wealth is something you pursue, something you hunt, something you get. This is fundamentally wrong. Money is not pursued, it is attracted. It is a byproduct, an effect, a shadow cast by a much more substantial object. That object is value. This is the secret, the core truth that separates the struggling from the successful, the amateur from the professional, the millionaire from the masses. Money follows value. It is a law as immutable as gravity. While most people are frantically trying to figure out how to get more money, the top 1% are obsessively focused on a different question. How can I create more value? They understand that your income is a direct reflection of the value you provide to the marketplace. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you create within that time. This is the great misunderstanding that keeps people broke and frustrated. They believe their hard work alone entitles them to wealth. But hard work on the wrong thing is a recipe for burnout, not a breakthrough. This audiobook is your blueprint for escaping that trap forever. We will dismantle the lies you've been told and rebuild your entire philosophy around this single, powerful truth. You will learn not just what value is, but how to define it, how to build it within yourself, how to scale it, and how to exchange it for the wealth and freedom you deserve. This isn't about luck, talent, or privilege. It's about a formula, a system, a set of principles that, when applied with relentless consistency, make financial success an inevitability. If you're ready to stop chasing shadows and start building something real, if you're ready to become a person of immense value, then commit to this journey. The path is simple, but it is not easy. It will require you to change. It will demand that you become more than you are today. But the reward is a life of your own design. The principles in this audiobook are the foundation of true wealth and freedom. To ensure you stay on this path and continue to receive the hard-hitting truths you need to win, subscribe to this channel right now. Don't be part of the 99% who consume information and do nothing. Be the 1% who commits, acts, and transforms their reality. Subscribe now and let's begin the work. Chapter 1. The Great Misunderstanding. Chasing Money, Not Value. Let's begin by tearing down the very foundation of your financial frustration. For your entire life, you have been conditioned to believe a fundamental lie, a great misunderstanding that has kept you, and 99% of the population, running on a treadmill of effort with no real forward momentum. The lie is this: you think your goal is to make money. You wake up in the morning and the objective is to earn a paycheck, to get paid, to acquire currency. You chase promotions, you look for higher-paying jobs, you dream of a windfall or a lottery ticket that will finally solve your problems. Every action is geared towards the acquisition of money itself. This is why you feel stuck. This is why you feel like you're working harder and harder, but the walls just keep closing in. You are chasing a shadow. You are trying to capture the effect while completely ignoring the cause. Money is an effect. Wealth is an effect. The cause, the source, the wellspring from which all financial success flows is value. You do not chase money. You create value and money chases you. This is the paradigm shift that must occur in your mind before any real progress can be made. It is the single greatest distinction between the millionaire mindset and the mindset of the masses. Most people are hunters of money. They spend their days chasing it, worrying about it, fighting for scraps of it. They see the world through a lens of scarcity, believing there is a finite pie and they must get their slice before someone else does. The truly wealthy are not hunters, they are farmers. They understand that you cannot harvest what you have not planted. They spend their time, energy, and focus cultivating their soil, planting seeds of value, and nurturing their growth. They know with absolute certainty that if they produce a healthy, abundant crop, the harvest will take care of itself. The market, the world, the universe will have no choice but to reward them. Think about it in the most practical terms. Why does a company pay you a salary? They are not paying for your time. If they were, everyone who sat at a desk for 8 hours would be paid the same. They are paying you for the value you are expected to create during that time. They are making a calculated investment, betting that the value of the problems you solve, the ideas you generate, or the systems you manage will be greater than the cost of your salary. The moment that equation flips, the moment you cost more than the value you provide, your position becomes precarious. The same is true for a customer. A customer does not give you money because they like you or because you worked hard. They give you money because they believe the value of the product or service you are offering is greater than the value of the money they are holding. It is a value exchange. Always. No exceptions. This is the engine of the entire economy. So if you want more money, the question is not, how can I get more money? That is the question of the 99%. That question leads to short-term thinking, to cutting corners, to office politics, and to a constant state of anxiety. Your question, the question of the 1%, must become, how can I create more value? That question leads to skill development. It leads to innovation. It leads to a focus on service, on excellence, on solving bigger and more complex problems. It shifts your entire orientation from taking to giving, from consuming to creating. And paradoxically, by focusing on giving and creating value, you end up receiving far more than you ever could by focusing on taking. Most people have an income mindset. They think, I am a person who earns $50,000 a year. That identity shapes their decisions. They look for $50,000 jobs, they solve $50,000 problems. Their financial thermostat is set. When you adopt a value mindset, you obliterate that ceiling. You stop defining yourself by a number on a paycheck and start defining yourself by the problems you are capable of solving. You are no longer just a marketing manager. You are a creator of systems that generate customer attention and revenue. You are no longer just a software developer. You are a builder of tools that solve complex business challenges and save people time and money. Do you see the difference? The first is a static label. The second is an active, dynamic identity centered on value creation. This is not just a semantic trick. It is a fundamental rewiring of your brain. When you focus on value, your entire world changes. You stop seeing your job as a chore and start seeing it as a platform, a training ground to expand your skills and your capacity to solve problems. You stop complaining about your boss or your company and start asking, what is the biggest problem around here that no one else wants to solve? Let me be the one to solve it. This is how you become indispensable. This is how you command higher and higher levels of income. While your colleagues are busy clock watching and doing the bare minimum, you are in the trenches becoming a master problem solver. You are building a reputation not as a worker but as a creator of value. People who chase money are always at the mercy of others. They need the boss to give them a raise. They need the customer to buy their product. They are in a position of supplication, of hopping, of asking. The creator of value operates from a position of power. They have something that others want and need. They are not asking, they are offering. They are not chasing, they are attracting. Their skills are in demand. Their solutions are sought after. The money, the opportunities, the partnerships, they flow to the source of the value. This misunderstanding is subtle but profound. It is the invisible script running in the background of most people's lives, dictating their actions and capping their potential. They spend decades perfecting the art of chasing money, becoming incredibly efficient at a game they can never truly win. They learn how to negotiate for a 3% raise, how to budget their meager income, how to live in a state of perpetual financial defense. The value creator lives a life of offense. They are not thinking about how to get a slice of the pie. They are thinking about how to bake a bigger pie for everyone. The world pays for value. It does not pay for effort. It does not pay for need. It does not pay for good intentions. It pays for solved problems, fulfilled desires, and created efficiencies. Your task is to detach your ego from the idea of getting paid and attach it to the identity of creating value. Everything else is a distraction. Before you move to the next chapter, I want you to internalize this. Repeat it until it becomes a part of you. I am not a money chaser. I am a value creator. My focus is not on what I can get, but on what I can give. My income is not my identity. It is a reflection of the value I provide. Burn this into your mind. This is the foundational stone upon which your empire will be built. Every strategy, every technique, every mindset shift we discuss from this point forward rests on your absolute acceptance of this one core principle. The 99% will continue to chase shadows, forever wondering why true wealth eludes them. You will not. You will build the substance. You will become the source, and the money will have no choice but to follow. Chapter 2. Defining your value proposition. What problem do you solve? You now understand the fundamental law. Money follows value. This is a monumental first step, a step that already places you far ahead of the masses who are still frantically chasing paper. But this knowledge on its own is purely academic. It's like knowing the law of gravity without understanding how to build an airplane. It's useless without application. The next critical step is to move from the abstract concept of value to a concrete, tangible, and personal definition. The question is no longer, how do I create value in general? The question becomes brutally specific. What value do I, personally, create? And we can sharpen the point of that spear even further to the most important question you will ever answer in your professional life. What problem do I solve? If you cannot answer that question with piercing clarity in a single sentence, you do not have a value proposition. And if you do not have a value proposition, you are a commodity. You are interchangeable, you are easily replaceable, and commodities are always paid the lowest possible price. This is a harsh truth, but it is the key to your freedom. Most people, when asked what they do, respond with a job title. I'm an accountant. I'm a project manager. I'm a graphic designer. This is a description of an activity, not a declaration of value. It tells me what you do, but it doesn't tell me why it matters. It's the answer of the 99%. It's passive. The 1% answer is different. They don't state a job title, they state a solution. The accountant becomes, I help small businesses organize their finances to save thousands in taxes and avoid costly audits. The project manager becomes, I ensure complex projects are delivered on time and under budget, saving companies from chaos and lost revenue. The graphic designer becomes, I create visual identities that make brands unforgettable and attract high-paying customers. Do you feel the shift in power? The first set of answers are about you and your role. The second set of answers are about the customer, the client, the employer, and the problem you solve for them. This is the essence of a value proposition. It is a clear statement that explains what benefit you provide, for whom you provide it, and how you do it uniquely well. It is the core of your economic power. Without it, you are adrift in a sea of sameness. So how do you define yours? This isn't about navel-gazing or finding your passion in a vague, ethereal sense. This is a strategic process. It starts with brutal self-assessment and market observation. First, you must look outward. What are the problems that exist in the world, in your industry, in your company? People don't buy products, they buy solutions to problems. They buy aspirin for their headaches. They buy a drill not because they want a drill, but because they want a hole in the wall. You must become an obsessive student of problems. What are people complaining about? What are the inefficiencies? What causes friction, frustration, and financial loss for others? Where is the pain? Money flows to the people who can solve the most painful, urgent, and expensive problems. You must train your brain to stop seeing the world as a consumer and start seeing it as a problem solver. Every news article, every industry report, every conversation with a colleague is a potential clue. Most people consume information passively. You must consume it actively, always asking, what is the problem here and how could it be solved? Second, you must look inward. What are your unique strengths, skills, and interests? This is not about what you enjoy in a leisurely sense. It's about what you are, or what you have the potential to become, exceptionally good at. What skills have you already developed? What subjects do you learn about effortlessly? What activities put you in a state of flow where time seems to disappear? Be brutally honest. Don't list things you wish you were good at. List the things where you have evidence of competence or a natural inclination. This is your raw material. This is your arsenal. The magic happens where these two circles overlap, the intersection of a painful market problem and your unique ability to solve it. This intersection is your value proposition zone. This is where your gold mine is located. For most people, this is a revolutionary way of thinking about their career. They've been told to follow a linear path. Get a degree, get a job, climb the ladder. The path was chosen for them by parents, teachers, or societal expectation. It was never a conscious, strategic choice based on where they could provide the most unique value. As a result, they end up in careers where they are mediocre, unfulfilled, and easily replaceable because they are solving a problem they have no unique talent or deep interest in solving. They are a square peg in a round hole. You must be different. You must be the architect of your own value proposition. Let's say you're an administrative assistant. Most people in that role define their value proposition as I schedule meetings and manage emails. This is a recipe for a capped, low-income career. But what if you looked for the real problem? The real problem is that your boss is a disorganized, high-level executive whose time is worth thousands of dollars an hour. His biggest problem is chaos and distraction. Your new value proposition becomes, I create systems that eliminate administrative chaos, giving my executive 10 extra hours of focused, high-leverage work time every week. Now you are not an admin. You are a leverage machine. You are a chaos eliminator. You are a creator of focus. A person who solves that problem is not paid a commodity wage. They are paid a share of the immense value they create. Once you have a hypothesis for your value proposition, you must test it. Start talking to people. Frame your value proposition as a question. I've noticed that a lot of small businesses struggle with getting new customers online. I help them create simple social media systems to attract a steady flow of leads. Is that something you see as a major challenge? Listen to their answers. Do their eyes light up? Do they lean in and say, tell me more? Or do they give you a polite nod? The market will always give you feedback. Most people are terrified of this step. They hide behind their desk, perfecting their skills in a vacuum, hoping someone will one day discover their genius. This is a losing strategy. You must engage with the world. You must put your value on the line and see if it resonates. Your value proposition is not a static statement you carve in stone. It is a living, breathing entity. It evolves as you develop new skills and as the market changes. Your job is to constantly refine it, sharpen it, and make it more potent. Ask yourself every single day, what problem did I solve today? Could I have solved a bigger one? Could I have solved it more effectively? This daily practice keeps you aligned with what truly matters. It pulls you out of the busy work that occupies the days of the 99% and forces you to focus on the high-leverage activities that create real, measurable value. Without this clarity, you will forever be pulled in 1,000 different directions, reacting to the demands of others and never building any real economic momentum. With a clear value proposition, you become a guided missile. Every book you read, every course you take, every project you accept is filtered through one question. Does this help me solve my chosen problem better? You become a specialist, a master, and the market pays extravagantly for mastery. Stop being a generalist. Stop being a jack of all trades. Stop defining yourself by a generic job title. Dig deep. Find the painful, urgent problem that you are uniquely equipped to solve, and then dedicate your life to becoming the absolute best in the world at solving it. That is your path to wealth. That is your purpose. That is your value proposition. Chapter 3. The currency of mastery, becoming world-class in your niche. You've identified the core law: money follows value. You've defined your value proposition by answering the critical question: what problem do I solve? Now, we arrive at the engine of your wealth creation machine. This is where the real work begins, the work that separates the dreamers from the doers, the dabblers from the masters. This chapter is about forging the raw material of your potential into the unbreakable currency of mastery. Simply identifying a problem is not enough. Anyone can spot a problem. The world is full of critics, commentators, and complainers. They are a dime a dozen. The world does not pay for observation, it pays for solutions. And it reserves its greatest rewards for those who provide the most elegant, effective, and reliable solutions. It pays for mastery. You must make a decision, a non-negotiable commitment to become world-class in your chosen niche. Not good, not proficient, not better than average. World-class, the very best. Most people will scoff at this idea. Their internal monologue of mediocrity will immediately kick in. Who am I to be world-class? That's for geniuses, for prodigies, for people with special talents. This is the lie of the 99%, the excuse that keeps them safely huddled in the comfortable harbor of being good enough. They dabble. They learn a little bit about this, a little bit about that. Their knowledge is a mile wide and an inch deep. As a result, they can only solve shallow, simple problems. And the world pays a shallow, simple wage for solving shallow, simple problems. The riches are in the depths. The riches are reserved for the person who has gone deeper than anyone else, who has dedicated themselves to understanding every nuance, every subtlety of their chosen craft. This person is no longer just a service provider. They are an artist. They are an authority. They are a master. And mastery is the ultimate form of value. Why? Because mastery eliminates risk for the buyer. When you hire a master, you are not just buying a task. You are buying certainty. You are buying peace of mind. You know the job will be done right, on time, and with a level of quality that an amateur could never replicate. This certainty is incredibly valuable, and people will pay a massive premium for it. Think of the difference between a general family doctor and a world-renowned brain surgeon. Both are doctors. Both solve problems. But the surgeon has dedicated their life to mastering an incredibly specific, high-stakes niche. They have gone deeper. As a result, they can solve a problem that almost no one else on the planet can solve. Their value is immense, and their income reflects that. This principle applies to every single field. The world-class copywriter who can write a sales page that generates millions in revenue. The world-class mechanic who can diagnose a problem in a high-performance engine just by its sound. The world-class consultant who can walk into a failing business and pinpoint the 3 critical levers that will save it. These are people who have rejected the path of the generalist and embraced the path of the master. So how do you achieve this? It is not about innate talent. Talent is a myth, an excuse used by the lazy to justify their lack of results. Mastery is a process. It is a product of deliberate, focused, and consistent effort over time. First, you must embrace the mindset of the apprentice. You must have the humility to admit that you are not yet a master. You must seek out those who are further along the path than you. Who are the top 5 people in the world at solving the problem you have chosen? Who are they? Write down their names. Now your task is to deconstruct their success. What books have they written? Read them all. What interviews have they given? Watch and transcribe them. What is their philosophy? What are their mental models? How do they approach their craft? You must become an obsessive student of the best. Most people consume content for entertainment. You will consume it for education and implementation. You are not looking for trivia. You are looking for a blueprint. Second, you must engage in deliberate practice. This is not the same as just putting in the hours. Most people practice on autopilot. A programmer might write code for 8 hours a day, but they are using the same techniques they learned 5 years ago. They are not growing, they are stagnating. Deliberate practice is different. It involves pushing yourself to the edge of your current abilities. It is about identifying your specific weaknesses and creating a system to eliminate them. It is about getting constant, high-quality feedback and immediately integrating it. A basketball player practicing deliberately doesn't just shoot 100 baskets. They shoot 100 free throws with a coach recording their form, analyzing the arc, the backspin, the follow-through, and making micro-adjustments after every shot. This is uncomfortable. It is mentally taxing. It is why most people avoid it. They prefer the comfort of doing what they already know how to do. You must lean into the discomfort. Your growth happens at the boundary of your competence. Whatever your field is, you must find your equivalent of that coached practice session. Is it getting your code reviewed by a senior engineer? Is it recording your sales calls and analyzing them word by word? Is it having your marketing copy critiqued by a world-class copywriter? You must actively seek out the feedback that will make you wince. That wince is the feeling of your comfort zone being stretched. It is the feeling of mastery being forged. Third, you must dedicate yourself to lifelong learning. The master knows that the journey is never over. The moment you believe you have arrived is the moment you begin your decline. The world is in a constant state of flux. New technologies emerge, new strategies are developed, and the bar for excellence is always rising. The 99% graduate from school and believe their education is complete. They might read an occasional article or watch a YouTube video, but there is no structure, no intensity to their learning. The master has a learning ritual. They dedicate a non-negotiable block of time every single day to sharpening their axe. They read voraciously, not just within their own field but in adjacent fields, looking for ideas they can cross-pollinate. They attend seminars, they join mastermind groups, they hire coaches. They invest in their own education more than anyone else would ever invest in them. Their brain is their primary asset, and they are constantly working to increase its value. This journey to mastery is not a side project. It is not something you do when you have the time. It must become the central organizing principle of your professional life. It is the ultimate act of creating value because the primary thing you are creating is a more valuable version of yourself. As you go deeper, something magical happens. The competition thins out. At the surface level, in the realm of the good enough, the market is incredibly crowded. Everyone is fighting for the same low-paying jobs and low-margin projects. But as you climb the mountain of mastery, the air gets thinner. There are fewer and fewer people willing to do the hard work required to reach the summit. At the top, there is no competition. You are competing only against your own potential. You are no longer a commodity to be bought. You are an asset to be invested in. You are the prize. Choose your niche. Commit to mastery. Embrace the discomfort of deliberate practice and become a lifelong learner. This is the only currency that never devalues. It is the foundation of unshakable confidence and the ultimate source of your wealth. Chapter 4. The Multiplier Effect. Scaling your value beyond time. You are now on the path to mastery. You have committed to becoming world-class at solving a specific, valuable problem. This alone will make you a high-income earner. You will be in the top tier of your field, sought after and well compensated. But there is a ceiling you will eventually hit, a limitation that traps even highly skilled professionals. That limitation is time. If your business model is based on trading your personal hours for money, no matter how high your hourly rate, you are still in a trap. You can only work so many hours in a day. You can only serve so many clients one-on-one. To achieve true wealth and freedom, you must break the link between your time and your income. You must learn to scale your value. This is the concept of the multiplier effect. It is about creating systems that allow your value to be delivered to hundreds, thousands, or even millions of people without your direct moment-to-moment involvement. This is the difference between being a well-paid cook and being a restaurant owner. The cook's income is tied directly to the hours they stand in the kitchen. The restaurant owner has built a system, a menu, a brand, a staff, a process that serves hundreds of people every night, generating income whether they are physically present or not. The owner has scaled their value. Most people never make this leap. The 99% are trapped in what I call the time for money equation. The highly skilled carpenter, the brilliant freelance writer, the sought-after consultant, they all make good money, but they are running on a hamster wheel. If they stop running, the money stops. They have a high-income job, not a source of wealth. Wealth is what you own that earns money for you while you sleep. The key to creating wealth is to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a system builder. You must find a way to package your mastery, your solution to the problem, into a form that can be replicated and distributed at scale. There are three primary ways to achieve this multiplier effect. The first, and perhaps most powerful in the modern age, is through media. You can create a piece of value once and have it serve an unlimited number of people. Write a book that solves a major problem. That book can be sold to millions of people around the world, 24 hours a day for years to come. You wrote it once. It works for you forever. Record an online course that teaches your hard-won expertise. That course can enroll thousands of students, delivering your value while you are sleeping, on vacation, or working on your next project. Create a YouTube channel, a podcast, or a blog that provides immense value to a specific audience. Each piece of content you create is an asset, a tiny digital employee working to build your reputation and attract opportunities around the clock. The 99% are consumers of media. They spend their evenings scrolling, watching, and being entertained. The 1% are producers of media. They understand that every article, every video, every podcast episode is an opportunity to package their value and distribute it at scale. They are building a library of assets that will pay dividends for years. They are cloning themselves digitally. You must shift from being a consumer to a producer. Take your expertise and codify it. Turn your knowledge into a product. This requires a mindset shift. Most experts are terrified of this. What if I give away my secrets? No one will hire me. This is scarcity thinking. The reality is the opposite. By generously sharing your value through media, you demonstrate your expertise. You build trust and authority at a scale you could never achieve through one-on-one interactions. You become the go-to expert in your field. The best clients and opportunities don't come from cold calling. They come from people who have already consumed your work and are pre-sold on your value. The second way to scale is through capital. This is about using money to make more money. At its simplest, this means investing. Instead of letting your income sit in a bank account being eaten by inflation, you convert it into assets that work for you: stocks, real estate, ownership in businesses. These assets generate dividends, rental income, and appreciation. This is money making money. It is the classic definition of scaling, but it also applies to your own business. It means hearing people. A solo entrepreneur is still trapped by their own time. The moment you hire your first employee, you have begun to scale. You are leveraging someone else's time to deliver your value. If you are a brilliant web developer, you can only build so many websites yourself. But if you create a process, a system for building excellent websites. You can hire and train 5 other developers to follow that system. Now, your value, your process and quality standard, is being delivered through 5 people instead of 1. You have multiplied your output. Most people are afraid to do this. They think no one can do it as well as I can. This perfectionism is a form of self-sabotage. Your job as a system builder is not to do all the work, but to create a system that allows others to do the work to your standard. This means creating training manuals, checklists, and clear processes. It means becoming a leader and a manager, not just a technician. It requires a completely different skill set, but it is the only path to true scale. The third multiplier is technology. You can leverage software and code to create systems that deliver value automatically. An e-commerce store is a perfect example. It is a piece of code that can process thousands of orders, accept payments, and manage shipping logistics without any human intervention. The owner created the system once, and the technology executes it flawlessly at scale. A software as a service, SaaS, business provides a valuable tool to thousands of customers, all of whom pay a monthly subscription. The code was written once, but it delivers value continuously. Even if you are not a coder, you can leverage technology. You can use email marketing automation to nurture relationships with thousands of potential customers. You can use project management software to coordinate a team of freelancers from around the world. You can use social media scheduling tools to distribute your content. Technology is the ultimate leverage. It allows one person to do the work of 1,000. The 99% are used by technology. Their attention is harvested by apps and algorithms. The 1% use technology as a tool to scale their own value. They are the masters of the machine, not its servants. Breaking free from the time for money trap is the single most important financial decision you will ever make. It is the transition from being an employee, even if you are self-employed, to being a business owner and an investor. It requires you to think bigger. It demands that you stop thinking about your next paycheck and start thinking about building your asset column. Start small. What is one piece of knowledge you have that could be turned into a short PDF guide, a checklist, or a video tutorial? Create it. Put it out into the world. That is your first asset. What is one repetitive task in your workflow that you could document and outsource to a freelancer? That is your first step towards leverage. What is one piece of software that could automate a part of your process? Implement it. These small steps, compounded over time, are what build the machine that works for you. Do not let yourself be the bottleneck in your own success. Your personal time is your most finite resource. Your value and your mastery, when packaged and scaled, can become infinite. That is the multiplier effect. Chapter 5. Perception is reality. How to signal high value. You can be the most masterful problem solver in the world. You can have a value proposition so sharp it could cut glass. You can even have systems in place to begin scaling your value. But if the world does not perceive you as valuable, none of it matters. In the marketplace, perception is reality. This is a concept that makes many hardworking, honest people uncomfortable. They believe their good work should speak for itself. They think, if I just keep my head down and produce quality results, the world will eventually notice and reward me. This is a noble sentiment, but it is a dangerously naive business strategy. It is the strategy of the 99%, and it leads to being overlooked, underpaid, and perpetually frustrated while less skilled competitors with better marketing race ahead. You cannot afford to be the world's best-kept secret. Creating value is only half the equation. The other half is effectively signaling that value to the world. Signaling is not about being arrogant, boastful, or inauthentic. It is not about fake it till you make it. It is the strategic and intentional communication of your competence, your mastery, and your ability to solve your target audience's problems. It is about making your invisible value visible. Think about any luxury brand, a high-end watchmaker, a designer fashion house, a luxury car company? Do they simply build a great product and hope people find it? Of course not. They invest enormous resources into signaling its value. The craftsmanship of their stores, the quality of their packaging, the aesthetic of their advertising, the price point itself. All of these are signals. They are carefully constructed to create a perception of elite quality, exclusivity, and desirability. This perception allows them to command a premium price far beyond the raw cost of their materials. You must become the luxury brand of you. You are the CEO of Me, Inc., and you must manage your brand with the same level of care and intention. Every touchpoint a potential client, employer, or partner has with you is an opportunity to either build or erode your perceived value. There are no neutral interactions. Your signaling starts with your professional presentation. How does your website look? Is it a cheap, outdated template, or is it clean, professional, and clearly communicating the problem you solve? When someone searches your name, what do they find? A professional LinkedIn profile showcasing results and testimonials, or a ghost town? The 99% neglect these details. Their online presence is an afterthought. The 1% understand that in the digital age, your online presence is your storefront. It is often the first impression you make, and you have seconds to signal credibility or incompetence. Invest in a professional headshot. Write a clear, benefit-driven bio. Showcase your best work. This is not vanity, it is strategic communication. Next, consider the quality of your communication itself. Your emails, your proposals, your phone calls, every word matters. Are your emails riddled with typos and grammatical errors? Are they poorly structured and hard to read? This signals carelessness and a lack of professionalism. A person who can't be bothered to write a clean email is unlikely to be trusted with a high-stakes project. In contrast, clear, concise, and professional communication signals intelligence, respect for the other person's time, and attention to detail. This builds trust, and trust is the bedrock of any high-value transaction. Develop a signature system, use professional language, and always proofread before you hit send. It's a small habit that pays enormous dividends in perceived value. One of the most powerful signals of value is social proof. Human beings are wired to follow the herd. We look to others to determine what is safe, what is good, and what is valuable. When we see that other people trust and endorse someone, our own trust in that person increases dramatically. You must be relentless in collecting and showcasing social proof. Testimonials from satisfied clients are pure gold. A short, powerful quote from a happy customer on your website is more persuasive than any marketing copy you could ever write. Case studies that detail the problem a client had, the solution you provided, and the measurable results you achieved are even better. They are tangible proof of your value proposition in action. The 99% are shy about asking for testimonials. They feel like they are bothering their clients. This is a massive mistake. If you have delivered incredible value, your clients are often happy to share their experience. You just have to ask, and you have to make it easy for them. Provide a simple template or a few guiding questions. The 1% have a system for collecting social proof as a standard part of their project wrap-up process. Price itself is a powerful value signal. Most people, especially when starting out, make the critical error of underpricing their services. They think if I'm the cheapest, I'll get the most business. This is a race to the bottom. Low prices attract the worst kind of clients, those who are demanding, difficult, and don't respect your expertise. More importantly, a low price signals low value. It unconsciously tells the market that you don't believe in your own work. When you see two identical products on a shelf, and one is priced at $10 and the other at $100, you instinctively assume the $100 product is of higher quality. Pricing is positioning. By strategically pricing your services at a premium, You are making a bold statement about the caliber of your work. This will scare off the bargain hunters, which is exactly what you want. It will attract a higher class of client, one who understands the concept of you get what you pay for and is willing to invest in a premium solution. Premium pricing must be backed by premium value, of course, but you must have the courage to command a price that reflects the mastery you are building. Finally, the way you carry yourself is a signal. This is about posture, confidence, and conviction. When you speak about what you do you sound hesitant and uncertain? Or do you speak with the quiet, unshakable confidence of a true expert? This doesn't mean being loud or arrogant. True confidence is calm. It comes from the deep, internal knowledge that you can deliver on your promises. It comes from thousands of hours of deliberate practice. The 99% are plagued by imposter syndrome, constantly second-guessing their own value. The 1% understand that confidence is a choice, a habit that is built through preparation and a relentless focus on creating results. Your work does not speak for itself. You are the speaker. You are the marketer. You are the brand manager. You must be as deliberate in signaling your value as you are in creating it. Audit every touchpoint. Refine your professional image. Systematize the collection of social proof. Price with confidence. And carry yourself like the world-class expert you are committed to becoming. When your perceived value matches your actual value, the floodgates of opportunity and income will open. Chapter 6. The Value Exchange. Mastering sales and negotiation. We have arrived at a critical juncture. All the value you've created, all the mastery you've forged, all the signals you've sent, it is all potential energy. It is worthless until it is successfully converted into kinetic energy through a transaction. That transaction is the value exchange. This is the moment where your value is traded for money, and the skills that govern this exchange are sales and negotiation. For many people, these words trigger a negative reaction. Sales conjures up images of pushy, manipulative used car salesmen. Negotiation brings to mind stressful, adversarial confrontations. The 99% avoid these skills. They see them as distasteful, as something other people do. They believe that if their value is high enough, people will simply show up and hand them money without any discussion. This is a catastrophic fantasy. The truth is, everyone is in sales. The employee selling their boss on a new idea is in sales. The entrepreneur selling an investor on their vision is in sales. The parent selling their child on eating vegetables is in sales. Sales, at its highest level, is not about manipulation or trickery. It is the art and science of persuasion. It is about effectively communicating the bridge between your solution and the customer's problem. It is about transferring your belief and conviction to another person. To master the value exchange, you must reframe your entire understanding of what sales is. Stop thinking of it as selling and start thinking of it as enrolling. You are not trying to push a product onto someone. You are enrolling them in a better future for themselves, a future where their problem is solved. Your service, your product, your expertise is simply the vehicle to get them to that future. When you adopt this mindset, your entire energy shifts. You move from a place of desperation, I need to make this sale, to a place of service, I need to help this person make the right decision for them. This shift is palpable to the other person. They will feel your genuine desire to help, not your commission breath. The foundation of effective enrollment is diagnosis. A master salesperson is like a master doctor. They do not prescribe a solution until they have thoroughly understood the patient's symptoms and diagnosed the underlying disease. The 99% jump straight into their pitch. They talk about themselves, their company, their product's features. We have the best features, the best technology, the best team. This is all about them. The 1% make it all about the customer. They ask powerful questions. What is the biggest challenge you're facing with this right now? What have you already tried to solve this problem? What would it mean for you? personally or for your business if this problem was solved completely in the next 3 months. They listen more than they talk. They dig deep to understand the true pain, the real problem behind the problem. Only after they have a crystal clear diagnosis do they begin to present their solution. And when they do, they don't talk about features, they talk about benefits. They frame their solution not in terms of what it is, but in terms of what it does for the customer. A feature is that your software has a 256-bit encryption. The benefit is that the customer can sleep at night knowing their sensitive data is completely secure from hackers. The 99% sell features. The 1% sell outcomes, emotions, and peace of mind. Negotiation is the other side of this coin. Once the customer is enrolled in the value you provide, a negotiation determines the final terms of the exchange. Most people fear negotiation because they view it as a battle, a zero-sum game where one person wins and the other loses. This is the amateur's mindset. A master negotiator sees it as a collaborative process to find a mutually beneficial agreement. The key to successful negotiation is to enter the conversation with a clear understanding of your own value and a willingness to walk away. This is your power. The person who is more willing to walk away from a deal always has the upper hand. This is why you must never be desperate. Desperation destroys your leverage. If you have a strong pipeline of other potential clients or opportunities, which you will if you are consistently creating and signaling value, you can negotiate from a position of calm strength. You are not there to take any deal. You are there to find the right deal. The second key is to separate the people from the problem. The negotiation is not you versus them. It is both of you sitting on the same side of the table, looking at the problem together and trying to find the best solution. Always be hard on the problem but soft on the person. Respect them. Listen to their constraints, but do not compromise on your core value. A common mistake the 99% make is immediately caving on price. The moment a client asks for a discount, they panic and give one, eroding their margins and their perceived value. The 1% rarely discount. Instead, they reframe the conversation around value. If a client says, "Your price is too high," an amateur says, "Okay, I can give you 10% off." A professional says, "I understand it's a significant investment. Could you help me understand which part of the solution you feel is not worth the price? We can perhaps adjust the scope of the project to fit your budget." This response doesn't devalue their work. It puts the focus back on the value exchange and opens a conversation about options. Perhaps the client doesn't need the full premium package. You can offer a smaller, less comprehensive solution for a lower price. You are removing value in exchange for a lower price, not just giving a discount for no reason. This protects your integrity and your positioning. You must practice these skills. Sales and negotiation are not innate talents. They are muscles that are built through repetition. Role play with a friend. Record your sales calls and analyze them. Read books on persuasion, influence, and negotiation. Treat it with the same seriousness as you treat your core craft. Your ability to create value is capped by your inability to sell it. Many brilliant technicians, artists, and creators live lives of quiet financial desperation because they refuse to master the value exchange. They see it as beneath them. This is an arrogant and self-defeating belief. The value exchange is the final, crucial step in the process. It is the bridge between your effort and your reward. Embrace it, study it, master it. Become as skilled at communicating your value as you are at creating it. When you can do both at a world-class level, you become an unstoppable economic force. Chapter 7. The Law of Compounding Value. Consistency over intensity. There is a force in the universe so powerful that Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. It is the force responsible for building fortunes, forging mastery, and creating every significant achievement in human history. That force is compounding. You are likely familiar with compounding in a financial context. The interest you earn on your investments begins to earn interest on itself, leading to exponential growth over time. But this law is not limited to money. It applies to everything. There is a law of compounding knowledge, a law of compounding skill, and most importantly for our purposes, a law of compounding value. This principle is the silent, invisible engine that will drive your long-term success, and it is almost entirely ignored by the 99%. Most people live in a world of intensity. They are addicted to the grand gesture, the heroic effort, the all-night sprint. They get a burst of motivation, they buy the gym membership, go every day for 2 weeks, burn out, and don't go back for 6 months. They decide to learn a new skill, they binge-watch tutorials for a weekend, get overwhelmed, and then the skill lies dormant. They are sprinters in a marathon. They are looking for the hack, the shortcut, the quantum leap. The 1% understand that this approach is a recipe for failure. They know that true, sustainable success is not built on sporadic bursts of intensity. It is built on the bedrock of relentless, mundane, and unsexy consistency. The master understands that small, seemingly insignificant improvements, when compounded day after day, week after week, year after year, lead to results that are so staggering they appear to be magical to the outside observer. The amateur overestimates what they can do in a day and dramatically underestimates what they can do in a year. The master has the opposite perspective. They focus on the daily process, trusting that the compounding effect will take care of the long-term outcome. Let's make this tangible. Imagine you commit to getting just 1% better at your core skill every single day. 1%. It's almost nothing. It's reading 10 pages of a book. It's making one more sales call. It's spending 15 extra minutes refining your craft. On day 1, the difference is unnoticeable. On day 30, it's still barely perceptible. This is the point where the 99% give up. They don't see the immediate, dramatic results they crave, so they conclude it's not working and revert back to their old habits. But the person who persists, the person who understands the law of compounding value, keeps going. After 1 year of improving by 1% each day, you would not be 365% better. Because of the compounding effect, you would be nearly 38 times better. That is the power of this law. It is a slow, quiet, invisible force in the beginning, and then it explodes with exponential power. This is why consistency is the ultimate superpower. It is more important than talent, more important than intelligence, and more important than luck. A person with average talent who shows up every single day will, over the long run, absolutely demolish a talented but inconsistent genius. The genius relies on inspiration. The master relies on discipline. The genius works when they feel like it. The master works according to their schedule, regardless of their mood. The key to harnessing this power is to build systems and habits, not to rely on willpower and motivation. Motivation is a fickle, fleeting emotion. Discipline is a muscle. Habits are the architecture of your life. You must design an environment and a daily routine that makes consistency the path of least resistance. The 99% wait for motivation to strike before they act. The 1% use action to create motivation. They have a non-negotiable ritual. For a writer, it's writing 500 words every morning, even if it's garbage. For a programmer, it's spending the first hour of the day studying a new framework. For a salesperson, it's making 10 cold calls before noon, no matter what. These aren't grand, heroic acts. They are small, sustainable, daily promises that you keep to yourself. Each time you keep that promise, you cast a vote for your new identity. You are not just writing 500 words. You are becoming a writer. You are not just making 10 calls. You are becoming a master salesperson. You are forging your character through the fire of daily discipline. This applies not just to your skills, but to every aspect of your value creation journey. It applies to building your network. Sending one thoughtful email or making one genuine connection per day seems small, but after a year, you've built a network of 365 people. After 5 years, you have a powerful ecosystem of allies and advocates. It applies to creating scaled assets. Writing one blog post a week seems trivial. But after 2 years, you have a library of over 100 articles, assets that are working for you 24/7, attracting your ideal audience and establishing your authority. Most people won't do this. It's not exciting enough. There's no instant gratification. It requires patience and faith in the process. It requires you to fall in love with the boredom of consistency. The results of your daily actions will be invisible for a long time. This period is what I call the valley of disappointment. It's the gap between your expectations of linear progress and the reality of exponential growth. You are putting in the work every day, but your results curve is still flat. This is the great test. This is where most people quit. You have to have the faith and the foresight to push through this valley, knowing that the explosive upward curve is waiting on the other side. So, how do you implement this? You must stop setting vague goals and start building concrete systems. A goal is, I want to be a better public speaker. A system is, I will record myself speaking for 5 minutes every day and watch it back. A goal is, I want to grow my business. A system is, I will spend the first 90 minutes of every workday on my single most important value-creating activity. You cannot control the goal, but you can 100% control whether you execute the system. Focus on winning the day. Don't worry about the year. If you win enough days, the years will take care of themselves. This is the blue-collar, lunch-pail work ethic of value creation. It's about showing up, punching the clock on your own ambition, and laying one brick perfectly every single day. Soon, you'll look back and you won't see a pile of bricks. You'll see a fortress. Forget about intensity. Forget about the quantum leap. Embrace the slow, methodical, relentless power of the compound effect. Let your competitors burn themselves out in short sprints while you maintain a steady, disciplined pace. It is the only path to creating value that is not just significant but sustainable and lasting. Consistency is the secret ingredient. It is the amplifier of all your other efforts. It is the law that governs true, enduring success. Chapter 8. Building your value ecosystem. Networks, assets, and reputation. Up to this point, we have focused primarily on building your internal value, your skills, your mindset, your discipline. This is the essential foundation. Without personal mastery, you have nothing of substance to offer. However, to truly maximize your impact and your income, you must learn to project that value outward and build an external structure that supports and amplifies it. I call this your value ecosystem. This ecosystem consists of 3 critical pillars: your network, your assets, and your reputation. The 99% think of their career as a solo mission. It's about their individual performance, their resume, their direct efforts. They operate as a lone wolf. The 1% understand that wealth and opportunity are not created in a vacuum. They are created within a network. They operate as the central hub of a powerful ecosystem. Your ecosystem is what works for you when you are not working. It is the structure that generates inbound opportunities, validates your expertise, and protects you from the volatility of the market. Let's break down the 3 pillars. First, your network. The old saying, "It's not what you know, it's who you know," is only half true. The full truth is, who you know is a direct result of what you know. A powerful network is not built by attending shallow networking events and collecting business cards. It is a byproduct of being a person of immense value. People want to be connected to other valuable people. The key to building a world-class network is to stop asking, "What can I get from these people?" and start asking, "What can I give to these people?" You must adopt a give-first mentality. How can you help someone in your desired network solve a problem? Can you introduce them to someone who could help them? Can you send them a valuable article or insight with no expectation of anything in return? Most people are network extractors. They only reach out when they need something: a job, a referral, an introduction. This is transparent and repels high-value individuals. You must be a network contributor. You must proactively look for ways to add value to the lives and businesses of the people you want to connect with. Make it your mission to become the most generous person they know. When you do this consistently, the law of reciprocity kicks in. People will feel a natural inclination to help you in return. More importantly, you will build a reputation as a connector and a problem solver, which is incredibly magnetic. Be strategic about this. Identify the key players in your industry, the centers of influence, the superconnectors, the masters of the craft, and then systematically and genuinely find ways to help them. One powerful, authentic relationship with a key influencer is worth more than 1,000 superficial contacts. Think of your network as a garden. You can't just throw seeds on the ground and expect a harvest. You must cultivate it. This means regular, authentic check-ins. It means remembering important details about people. It means celebrating their wins and offering support during their challenges. It is a long-term investment in relationships, not a short-term transactional game. The second pillar is your assets. As we discussed in the chapter on scaling, assets are the things you create that deliver value without your direct involvement. These are your digital employees. This includes your content library, your blog posts, videos, podcast episodes. It includes your intellectual property, your books, your courses, your software. It also includes your financial assets, your investments in stocks, real estate, and other businesses. The 99% have an income statement mindset. They focus on their monthly paycheck. The 1% have a balance sheet mindset. They are obsessed with building their asset column. Every piece of value you create should be viewed through the lens of asset creation. Don't just solve a problem for one client. Document the process and turn it into a case study. That's a marketing asset. Don't just learn a new skill. Teach it in a YouTube video. That's a content asset. Don't just earn a salary. Systematically convert a portion of that salary into income-producing investments. Those are financial assets. Your goal is to build a fortress of assets around you. These assets protect you. If you lose your job, your content assets are still attracting opportunities, and your financial assets are still generating income. They provide leverage. Your library of content can pre-sell thousands of potential customers on your value before you ever speak to them. They create freedom. When the income from your assets exceeds your living expenses, you are financially free. You no longer have to trade your time for money to survive. You can work on whatever you want, whenever you want. The third pillar, and arguably the most important, is your reputation. Your reputation is the ultimate currency. It is the collective perception of your value, your character, and your trustworthiness. It precedes you into every room and every conversation. A powerful reputation can open doors that money and skill alone cannot. A damaged reputation can slam them shut forever. Your reputation is built on two things: your competence and your character. Competence is about delivering world-class results consistently. Every project you complete, every promise you keep, is a deposit into your reputational bank account. Every missed deadline, every sloppy piece of work is a withdrawal. You must be maniacally protective of the quality of your output. Character is about how you conduct yourself. Are you honest? Do you operate with integrity? Do you treat people with respect, regardless of their status? Do you take responsibility when you make a mistake? In the long run, character trumps competence. A brilliant but untrustworthy person will eventually be found out and ostracized. A competent person with impeccable character will build a network of loyal advocates who will champion them for decades. Your reputation is fragile. It can take a lifetime to build and a single moment of poor judgment to destroy. The 99% think in terms of short-term gains. They might cut a corner, tell a white lie, or burn a bridge to get a quick win. The 1% think in terms of decades. They would never sacrifice their long-term reputation for a short-term advantage. They know that their reputation is their single most valuable asset. These three pillars, network, assets, and reputation, work together in a virtuous cycle. Your growing mastery allows you to create valuable assets. Sharing these assets builds your reputation. Your reputation as a valuable, trustworthy person attracts a high-quality network. Your network then brings you new opportunities to apply your mastery and create even more assets. This is your value ecosystem. It is a flywheel that, once it gets spinning, generates its own momentum. Your job is to stop being a lone wolf and start being an architect. Deliberately design and build this ecosystem around you. Be a giver, not a taker in your network. Be a producer, not just a consumer of assets. And guard your reputation with your life. This is how you move beyond just being a high-income earner and become a truly wealthy and influential individual. Chapter 9. The Mindset of the Value Creator. From scarcity to abundance, we have covered the strategies, the tactics, and the systems for building a life of wealth by focusing on value. We've talked about mastery, scaling, signaling, and building your ecosystem. But none of it will work. None of it will stick if it is built upon a faulty foundation. That foundation is your mindset. Your internal world creates your external world. Your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions dictate your actions, and your actions create your results. If you want to change your results, you cannot simply change your actions. You must go deeper. You must upgrade your entire operating system. The fundamental mindset shift that separates the value creator from the money chaser is the shift from scarcity to abundance. The 99% operate from a deep-seated belief in scarcity. They see the world as a zero-sum game. There is a limited amount of money, a limited number of opportunities, a limited number of good jobs. For them to win, someone else must lose. This scarcity mindset breeds fear, competition, and a defensive posture. It's the mindset of the hunter fighting over a limited kill. It leads to hoarding information because if you share your knowledge, someone else might get ahead. It leads to jealousy of others' success because their win feels like your loss. It leads to a focus on taking, on getting your slice of the pie before it's gone. It is a stressful, anxious, and ultimately impoverished way to live. The value creator, the 1%, operates from a mindset of abundance. They see the world as a positive-sum game. They understand that value is not finite. It can be created out of thin air. When you solve a new problem, you are not taking value from someone else. You are creating new value that did not exist before. When you share your knowledge, you are not losing your edge. You are building your reputation and potentially creating new collaborators who can help you build an even bigger pie. Their win does not diminish you. It proves what is possible and can inspire you to reach higher. This abundance mindset breeds confidence, collaboration, and an offensive posture. It is the mindset of the farmer, who knows that they can always plant more seeds and cultivate a larger harvest. It leads to a focus on creating, on giving, on contribution. The abundant thinker knows that if they focus on creating immense value for others, the universe will have no choice but to reward them in return. They are not worried about getting their slice, because they are busy learning how to bake new and bigger pies. This shift from scarcity to abundance is the most important internal work you will ever do. It will change everything. How do you cultivate this mindset? First, you must curate your inputs. Your mind is like a garden. If you constantly plant seeds of negativity, fear, and scarcity, which is what 99% of news and social media is, you will grow weeds of anxiety and pessimism. You must be ruthless about what you allow into your mind. Unfollow negative people. Stop watching the news, which is engineered to trigger your fear response. Instead, consciously consume content that reinforces an abundance mindset. Read biographies of successful creators and entrepreneurs. Listen to podcasts that focus on innovation, growth, and possibility. Surround yourself, digitally and physically, with people who operate from a place of abundance. Your thinking will become a reflection of what you feed your mind. Second, you must practice gratitude. Scarcity focuses on what is missing. Abundance focuses on what you have. The fastest way to shift your state is to practice gratitude. Every single day, take 2 minutes to write down or simply think about 3 things you are grateful for. This is not some soft, feel-good platitude. It is a powerful neurological exercise. It trains your brain's reticular activating system to start scanning the world for positives instead of negatives. A person who is constantly focused on what they are grateful for cannot simultaneously be trapped in a scarcity mindset. They are mutually exclusive states. Gratitude rewires your brain for opportunity and abundance. Third, you must shift your identity from being a consumer to being a creator. The default mode for most people is consumption. They consume food, they consume entertainment, they consume products. Their primary interaction with the world is taking things in. The value creator's primary mode is production. They produce ideas, they produce solutions, they produce art, they produce systems. This is a fundamental identity shift. Start seeing yourself as a producer first. Before you consume anything, ask yourself, what can I create today? Even if it's small, a well-written email, a new idea for a project, a piece of advice that helps a colleague, the act of creation shifts you into an abundant state. It affirms your power to generate value, not just consume it. Finally, you must embrace the concept of anti-fragility. The scarcity mindset is fragile. It is terrified of failure, of setbacks, of criticism. Any shock to the system is seen as a threat. The abundant mindset is anti-fragile. An anti-fragile system is one that doesn't just withstand shocks, but actually gets stronger from them. The value creator sees failure not as an endpoint, but as a data point. It is valuable feedback that helps them get better. They see criticism not as a personal attack, but as a free consultation that can reveal their blind spots. They lean into challenges because they know that stress and pressure are what forge mastery, just as lifting heavy weights is what builds muscle. They understand that every problem is an opportunity in disguise. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity to create value. This mindset is your armor. It is what will carry you through the valley of disappointment when your results are not yet visible. It is what will give you the courage to price your services at a premium. It is what will allow you to build a network based on giving, not taking. Without it, all the best strategies in the world will crumble under the first sign of pressure. The 99% are trapped by their own limiting beliefs. They are prisoners in a jail of their own mind's construction. Your first and most important task is to break free. You must consciously and deliberately choose abundance over scarcity, creation over consumption, and anti-fragility over fragility. Cultivate this mindset daily. Guard it fiercely. It is the fertile soil from which your entire empire of value will grow. Chapter 10. The Legacy of Value. Impact beyond income. We are nearing the end of our journey together, but we are at the beginning of yours. We have deconstructed the formula for attracting wealth by becoming a person of immense value. You understand that you must stop chasing money and start creating value. You know how to define your value proposition, commit to mastery, scale your impact, signal your worth, and master the value exchange. You understand the power of consistency, the importance of your ecosystem, and the foundational role of an abundant mindset. If you apply these principles with relentless discipline, you will become wealthy. The financial rewards will come. That is the inevitable outcome of the system. But now, we must ask a bigger question. A question that moves us beyond the mechanics of wealth creation and into the realm of purpose and meaning. The question is, why? Why do you want this wealth? What is the ultimate purpose of creating all this value? The 99% see money as the end goal. Their dream is to accumulate enough of it so they can stop working, lie on a beach, and consume endlessly. It is a dream of retirement, of escape from a life of quiet desperation. This is a shallow and ultimately unfulfilling vision. The 1%, the true masters of value creation, understand a deeper truth. Money is not the goal. Money is fuel. It is a tool. It is a resource that, when used correctly, amplifies your ability to create even more value and have an even greater impact on the world. The ultimate goal is not retirement. It is freedom. Freedom to work on the problems you are most passionate about solving without being constrained by the need to earn a paycheck. The ultimate prize is not a life of leisure. It is a life of contribution on your own terms. This is the concept of a value legacy. It's about thinking beyond your own lifetime. It's about building something, a business, a body of work, a foundation, a movement that continues to provide value to the world long after you are gone. This is the final evolution of the value creator. You move from creating value for income to creating value for impact. This is the level where true fulfillment is found. Look at any of the great entrepreneurs or creators in history. Did they stop working once they made their first million or their first billion? No. They kept going, driven by a mission that was bigger than themselves. They were obsessed with solving a problem, with pushing humanity forward, with leaving a dent in the universe. The money was simply a byproduct of their obsession and a tool to further their mission. Your task is to start thinking about your own legacy now. Not when you are old and retired, but right now. What is the impact you want to have? If money were no object, what problems would you dedicate your life to solving? What change do you want to create in your family, your community, your industry, or the world? This question is not a distraction from your wealth-building journey. It is the rocket fuel for it. Having a purpose that is bigger than your own bank account will give you a level of drive and resilience that is superhuman. When you are working not just for a paycheck, but for a cause you deeply believe in, you will push through obstacles that would stop others in their tracks. You will find a level of creativity and energy you never knew you possessed. This legacy mindset also changes your relationship with wealth. When you see money as fuel for your mission, you become a better steward of it. You are less likely to waste it on frivolous consumption and more likely to reinvest it strategically into your skills, into your business, into assets that can further your cause. You move from being a consumer of luxury to being an investor in your legacy. The 99% want to look rich. The 1% want to be rich so they can fund what matters. So how do you start building this legacy? It begins with the work you are already doing. The mastery you are developing is the foundation of your legacy. As you become world-class at solving your chosen problem, you are already creating an impact. Your legacy is not some separate future project. It is the sum total of the value you create every single day. The key is to become more intentional about it. Start to think about how the value you create can have a ripple effect. If you help a small business owner succeed, you are not just helping one person. You are helping their employees keep their jobs. You are helping their families have security. You are helping your community's economy thrive. See the larger impact of your daily work. Mentorship is another powerful way to build your legacy. As you climb the mountain of mastery, you have a responsibility to reach back and help others who are just starting their journey. Teach what you know. Share your wisdom generously. The value you create is multiplied exponentially when you empower others to become value creators themselves. Your legacy is not just in what you build, but in who you build up. This final chapter is not about giving you more tactics. It is about giving you a new context for all the tactics you have learned. It is about elevating your ambition from personal success to lasting significance. The formula remains the same. Money follows value. But now you understand the full depth of that statement. The money is not just currency. It is freedom, it is opportunity, it is the fuel for your mission. The value is not just a service you provide. It is your contribution, it is your impact, it is the legacy you leave behind. You are not just building a career. You are building a life of meaning. You are not just chasing wealth. You are on a quest to realize your highest potential and make your greatest contribution. This is the ultimate game, and it is a game you are now fully equipped to win. The journey will be long. It will require more from you than you can possibly imagine. But the reward is not just a bank account full of money. It is a life full of purpose. It is the unshakable self-respect that comes from knowing you did not settle for mediocrity, that you squeezed every last drop of potential out of your time on this earth. That is a legacy worth building. That is a value that is truly priceless. The closing, we have reached the end of this blueprint, but we are at the true beginning of your transformation. The words you have heard are not mere information. They are seeds. And like any seed, they are useless unless they are planted in the soil of action and watered with the discipline of consistency. Most people who consume this kind of material will feel a temporary rush of motivation. They will feel inspired for a day, maybe a week. And then, the powerful gravity of their old habits and limiting beliefs will pull them back down to earth, back into the comfortable mediocrity of the 99%. They will remain money chasers, forever wondering why true freedom eludes them. But you are not most people. The very fact that you have listened to this entire audiobook proves that you are different. There is a fire in you that refuses to be extinguished, a deep and undeniable hunger for more than just survival. Now you must protect that fire. You must fan it into an inferno. The path forward is clear. It is not complex. It is not a secret. It is a formula. Money follows value. This is your new mantra, your compass, your guiding star. Every decision you make from this day forward must be filtered through this lens. Is this action creating value, or is it merely consuming time? Is this investment increasing my capacity to solve problems, or is it a short-term distraction? Am I focused on what I can get or on what I can give? I want you to close your eyes for a moment and visualize the person you are becoming. See yourself 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. See the person who is no longer a victim of circumstance but is the deliberate architect of their life. See the quiet confidence in their eyes, born not of arrogance, but of proven competence. See the mastery in their hands, the result of thousands of hours of deliberate practice. See the freedom in their schedule, the product of a value ecosystem that works for them around the clock. See the impact they have on others, the legacy they are building with every action. That person is you. That is not a distant dream. It is an inevitable reality, provided you do the work. The journey from where you are now to where you want to be is paved with one thing: promises you keep to yourself. The promise to show up every day. The promise to choose the uncomfortable path of growth over the easy path of stagnation. The promise to be a creator, not just a consumer. This is no longer about just making more money. It is about a fundamental shift in your identity. You are shedding the skin of the person who hopes, wishes, and waits. You are stepping into the identity of the person who decides, acts, and creates. This is the source of all real power and all lasting self-respect. It is about earning your own admiration. Stop looking for external validation. The world's applause is fickle. The only approval that matters is the one you see in the mirror each morning, the quiet nod of respect from the person who knows you did not cheat, you did not quit, and you did not sell out on your own potential. The formula is in your hands. The path is before you. The choice, as always, is yours. Will you let these words fade into the background noise of your life? Or will you let them be the catalyst for a profound and permanent transformation? Let today be the day you draw a line in the sand. Let today be the day you stop chasing shadows and start building your empire of value. The work starts now. Go.